Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, here to help you find your most unwavering love, beauty, and kindness for yourself inside and out. I will be teaching you nutrition and macro tracking secrets, reverse diet and metabolism health tips and tricks, and motivating the heck out of you so you will want to leap up and start conquering your goals right away. I am here to help bring you the light at the end of the tunnel so you can discover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, or if you're in the car or at the gym, go ahead and bump up your volume just a little so we can drown out those gym grunters next to you, and we can go ahead and dive right in. Don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook by simply doing a 5-star rate and review on this podcast. All you need to do is submit a 5-star rate and review, then send us your name and email through the link in the show notes so we know exactly where to send your cookbook. By submitting your 5-star rate review, this will also automatically enter you into the weekly podcast macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my See You Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely winner who leaves an awesome 5-star rate and review. This winner is announced every week on my Instagram story as well as my newsletter email list. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I'll see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful peach? It is that time of year where we have either already created New Year's resolutions, we want to create our New Year's resolutions, or we are feeling anxious about those New Year's resolutions and actually hitting those goals. So today I'm going to be giving you my personal mindset on our New Year's resolutions. How many times can I say that? Words, plural, I guess. And walk you through how when I actually stopped writing my New Year's resolutions, I was able to reach my goals far faster than I was when I was actually writing them. So today I'm going to walk you through, I think you should probably count how many times I say New Year's resolutions in this episode because I think I have it in there a lot. That's okay. So I'm going to walk you through why your New Year's resolutions can actually cause you to lose motivation, why you have not been able to actually hit those New Year's resolutions in the past, and a new way of looking at your goals to actually create endless motivation that is just compounding over time and the long-term results, okay? So without further ado, let's dive in because this one's a great one. How to stop writing your New Year's resolutions helped me, or how I stopped when I stopped. It helped me finally reach my goals. As we are starting this episode, I actually want you to first take a pause on this episode. I know we just started. Kind of weird for me to say, hey, go ahead and pause this episode. But I want you to actually sit down and write down, if you have not already, what your New Year's resolutions would be, or at least think it through if you're not in a place where you can sit down and you can jot it down on your notes in your phone, or if you have a pen and a piece of paper, go ahead and do that. But pause the episode for, at least 30 seconds and just get a really solid idea of what those resolutions would be, okay? So 3, 2, 1, pause. Awkward pause while I'm waiting for you to pause it. And let's just hope that you have paused it and wrote those down. So your goals and resolutions might look something like this: losing 20 pounds, getting a raise, eating more vegetables, ending your binge eating. Many dieters probably will write down eat less carbs, actually eat less sugar this year. Go out less. I'm going to eat out less so I can stay on track. Eat less bad food, quote unquote bad food. And I think what's 2 points on this. Number one, if you're listening to this, you probably did have a New Year's resolution relating to fat loss, your metabolism, food freedom. You might be new to my podcast episode and you might be in a little bit more of a diet mentality. And so you had thoughts of eat less carbs, eat less sugar, eat less quote unquote bad food, etc. And I really want us to change the mindset, number one, of eating less And instead of eating less of the food that we consider bad, change that to learning how to eat those foods while seeing results, okay? A lot of times when we have a bunch of different goals, we will, and I have actually written here in my notes, what you have written very likely is a grouping of, number one, things that you would love to accomplish. Number two, maybe things that you have written down actually are things that you have written down in the past years for your resolutions or thought about in the past that you wanted to accomplish. So it's a little bit of a grouping of both. Things that you want to actually accomplish this year. You're like, yes, I would love to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, right? I would love to heal my metabolism. And also maybe you have written that last year and the year before. So this will give you some feels, give you different kinds of feels. You might feel excitement. You're ready to start. You're like, let's go. You might feel some procrastination already because you're already thinking of, the fact that you haven't hit those goals in the past. And you're like, oof, maybe I don't want to try this now because I don't want to feel like I'm feeling again. If you are stressed about the fear of failure, go ahead and listen to this past episode that I recorded last week or that I had open. Words are hard today. Words are not working out the way that I thought they would today. But the episode from last week, I talk all about failure and my personal thoughts on failure, how they can actually slow your progress. So I have some thoughts there for you. You might actually already feel exhaustion. You're already thinking of ways that you're like, hey, I want to reach these goals, but I'm already feeling burnt out. And this usually comes from the countless diets that you have done in the past that made you feel exhausted. So you're starting to think, in order for me to have success, think of it as an if-then almost. If I lose weight, then I will feel burnt out. If I lose 20 pounds, then I will be restricted. If I lose the weight, then I will have to give up the food I love. And so we're already feeling exhausted because we're feeling like in order to see those results, we're going to have to fit inside of a diet box. And the truth of this is you get to have the best of both worlds. You get to have both. So you need to change your mindset from if then to you get to have both. It gets to be flowing naturally. You get to see the weight loss. You get to, I should say fat loss. There is a difference between weight loss and fat loss. You get to have the fat loss. You get to have the body you love. You also get to eat the food that you love. You get to get rid of the binge eating. It all gets to happen for you. And also, you might even feel some disappointment because you're looking back at the past 5 to 10 years thinking, oh man, how did I get here? How have I had the same goals again and again and again? And we really want to release those negative feelings. And I was listening to, I wish I could tell you who I was listening to, but it was all about our mentality and it was more business related. But when we have those negative feelings, instead of seeing them and holding on to them, what I personally like to do, actually, so this is something that I personally like to do, is I like to think about my brain. And I like to think of a shelf sitting somewhere in my brain, just a shelf hanging out there. And I will put those negative feelings into a bag, into a box, into whatever it may be, tie it up with a pretty little bow, label it, whatever that negative thought is, and put it on that shelf. You're making it pretty. You're acknowledging it. You're saying, hey, I see you. I hear you. I recognize these thoughts that I'm having. I'm going to process them. I'm feeling them. And also, we don't need to stay in them, okay? Feelings are not final. Feelings are not going to stay around forever. And also you have to process those feelings in order to release them, okay? So what I personally do when I'm feeling, anxious, when I'm feeling, I struggle with anxiety. So one of the things that I do is I put whatever it may be that I'm feeling anxious about in a little box, not a diet box. We're not talking about our little restrictive diet boxes. We're talking about putting in our little box, right? And putting it on the shelf and saying, hey, I see you. I'm putting a pretty little bow. You're not as bad as I thought. You're going to sit there, I felt you, and we're going to move on. We're going to release them, okay? And over time, what's going to happen? I don't know, because I've never thought about that. What happens to the box sitting on the shelf? But let's just say the box just disappears. We'll just go with that. And I think something also that's really important to note is I used to think that, when I stop feeling negative emotions, when I stop feeling stress in my body, when I stop feeling this or that, then I will be successful. Then I will be free. And I think the reality and the truth of the matter is we will never be 110% free of a negative thought about our body. I still have negative thoughts that pop into my head, but because I've learned how to process them and move on, no, they're not final. No, they're not fatal. No, that my body's always ever changing. It's allowed me to really step into a place of like, hey, success doesn't mean never having those feelings. Success means knowing how to navigate those feelings, okay? And I think something that's important too is because just because you haven't accomplished your goal yet, doesn't mean you need to sit in the feeling of disappointment, and it doesn't mean that you're not capable, okay? There's nothing wrong with you. You're absolutely capable. This is just your journey, and it's different than everybody else in the world. It might have taken you a little bit longer to get to where you want to go, and that's okay. Mistakes are meant to happen. And again, go listen to last week's episode. It's episode, I have it written down here actually. How your fear of failure is hindering your fat loss results. Go listen to that one if you're really stuck on the failure side of things, okay? So let's come back to our New Year's resolutions. I want you to think about your resolutions again for me. Bring that back. I know there's a little tangent there, but bring it back, okay? You want to lose 20 pounds, get a raise, more vegetables, end your binge eating, whatever it may be. If you got that, great, awesome. Let's get into problem number 1 with our New Year's resolutions. Number 1, they are often way too shallow. And I know it sounds weird because we're like, I want to lose 50 pounds. That feels like a really big goal. But here's the thing. Simply writing down what we want is not going to help us. You want to lose 50 pounds, cool. You wrote it down on a piece of paper. Now what? You just look at it? Like, that's not going to get you very far. We need clarity on what we are going to do so we can actually get an action plan and execute that action plan as long as it's sustainable, maintainable, educational, and enjoyable, right? My signature framework of all my coaching and courses are built around that framework. And the problem with a very shallow goal is it can lead us crashing right into the new year and literally crashing right into a crash diet. And it's because we haven't actually sat down and looked at what our goal is, looked at what we've done in the past, assessed, and made sure we're doing something different, okay? So instead of doing just another diet, which is what a lot of people do, they say, hey, I really want to lose 20 pounds, whatever it may be. Last year I did keto. Okay, great. So this year I'm going to do low fat. That's actually not going to help you long term because you're just simply going to a different diet. You're not taking apart why did keto not work for you. It wasn't the carbs. Carbs are not the problem. The problem was the fact that it made you feel restricted. It made you binge eat. It made you feel unhappy in your body. What's not working? The diet's not working. Okay, cool. So do you think low fat's going to work? Probably not, because it's going to be putting you into a very large restriction. You can't eat fat. You're not going to be able to go out to eat and live your life. So yes, you may be and very likely are working your absolute tail feather off to see those changes, but you're not actually working with something that's going to lead you in the right direction. And so it's going to lead you directly to burnout, which means that you are going to work your tush off very first thing, the first couple months, first couple weeks of the new year, doing whatever diet it is. It's the all or nothing. I'm going to eat no sugar, no alcohol, no nothing, right? You're in that all or nothing. And then bam, you hit the plateau. You are inevitably going to want to fall. You're going to push yourself off that diet wagon, right? Because it's not going to be sustainable. Okay. And the problem with this is it's leading you to not feeling like you are worthy of change. Okay. Because you're going diet to diet, you're not feeling worthy of change. And also it's pushing you to not actually trust yourself. And I actually have this in big, bold letters and underlined in my notes. I'm going to read this directly, and I hope my notes are going to make sense. I don't actually know if this is proper grammar, but we will find out. I said to not trusting yourself, right? It's going to lead you right into not trusting yourself. You can never learn to trust yourself if you continue to choose quick fixes that are not going to lead you to success and to a long-term change. And a very, very good action step for this specifically is you need to get clarity on your goals. And I talked about this actually in BPM earlier this week, since we are nearing the end of the year. And it's one of the very first things that we do in BPM. You actually get this in the Mastermind Welcome Package, my BPM Welcome Package. I've got a really cool goal setting, mindset exercise in there. And it's had incredible feedback. It's really cool. Download, you can write on it. You can print it off and do it again and again and again every single week, every single month, whatever you want to do. And I have clients who do that. It's really cool to see how their mindset changes over time and how their goals change over time and how easy it starts to become for them when they actually have the game plan, the action plan. All they need to do is show up and they need to execute, okay? I think a lot of people in the diet world think they can pay $9.99 to this next diet that's, trending right now, and that's all they need to do. No, you want to make sure you're not going for the cheap quick fix. You want to invest in yourself, which likely does mean a true investment to you, but it will give you the long-term change. It will save you time, money, and energy in the long run because you're being proactive rather than ending up 10 years from now, 3 years from now, 1 year from now, sitting in the hospital with a hospital bill because you didn't take care of yourself now. I know that sounds very, very, very harsh and like a gut punch, but I had that reality check because under eating is just as bad as I shouldn't say overeating, but being in a space of under eating is it's not a good place. And me being someone who has under ate for a long time in my life before I healed, before I had my education, I've got my bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics from Clemson University. I have a master's degree in exercise science and sports nutrition. I wrote my master's thesis on the human metabolism and reverse dieting to heal our metabolism for long-term fat loss. And then the effects of dieting on our mentality, on our motivation. So I've done a heck of a ton I've literally done studies. I have a book on the human metabolism. I have a book on dieting and the negative impacts of dieting on our body. So I think people don't realize how negatively not eating and not eating enough can actually impact you. And I think people are like, well, I'm not overeating, so I'm fine. But it's like, no, actually undereating is really not going to be good for you either. So we want to get you into a place where you're absolutely thriving. So coming back to our action step of you getting clarity on your goals, instead of saying, I want to lose 50 pounds, done, end of story, think deeper. What needs to happen in order to help you lose those 50 pounds? Do you need to work on your relationship with food so you can heal your binge eating? So you can actually start to learn to eat out confidently so you can enjoy the holidays without the yo-yo ups and downs of binge eating. Cool. Okay, awesome. So how are we going to do that? Okay. We can't lose 50 pounds if we don't feel confident in the real world scenarios. So you need a system that works for you. Okay. Do you need to work on your relationship with the love that you have for yourself? If you are feeling so much dislike for yourself that you wake up in the morning and you are just tearing yourself apart, that's not going to fly. You need to start showing up as the person that you want to be every single day as you're working towards getting to that goal. When you reach that goal, it's not actually about hitting the goal. It's about the person that you become during that process. It's about how you are changing, how you are showing up. And it's scary and it's hard to let go of a person that you are now, because sometimes it feels comfortable to feel stuck. And it's weird to say this, but sometimes it feels comfortable to feel stuck in this dieting world because that's what you know. And so to step into this next chapter where you become the person you're proud of, it's letting go of that past self, which is scary, but it's also stepping into this new person that feels so incredibly aligned with you, where your quality of life is incredible, where you are confident, where you are happy, and you are showing up for her. You get to show up for you, okay? So instead of, in this case, instead of seeking external validation to make yourself feel better, you need to start to learn why you are feeling a negative emotion and really, really start to feel that emotion, learn about it. And I'm a huge therapy advocate. I love therapy. I think it's absolutely incredible. And it's personally helped me a lot with my own connection to myself, my self-awareness, letting go of my ego, being very receptive to learning and growing and saying, hey, yes, I've got this going on with myself. I'd like to fix it. So how are we going to do it? Okay. And you need to learn how to accept those emotions, understand that it's okay to feel negative thoughts, but don't sit in it because those thoughts and feelings are passing. So if you wake up and you're PMSy, you are having all the negative body thoughts, we are actually more prone to have negative thoughts about ourselves and our body during our periods when we are PMSy. And so what I like to do is wear something that's comfortable. If I'm going to have a negative body thought, I'm going to sit here and say, hey, I feel it. I see you. Put it in your little bag, put it in your box in your brain, tie a little bow on it, give it a little pat, give it a little hug, and then go do something that's going to give you some self-care. Take a bath, go for a walk, get yourself a massage, do something that's going to feel good to you. And know that the feelings that you're having, yes, acknowledge them. Don't try to shove them down. Feel them and know that they will be passing, okay? Step up and learn how to take care of yourself so you're able to move forward and acknowledge and feel those feelings and be okay with them, okay? Do you need a reverse diet? Maybe you're eating 1,200 calories, but you want to lose 50 pounds so bad, but you refuse to accept that you need a reverse diet. So instead, maybe this year you actually give yourself the tough love. Stop settling for the diets and actually go in for that long-term change, okay? Hey, beautiful peach. Is your slow metabolism causing your fat loss plateau? Do you want your own custom metabolism health report so you can ditch the, do I actually have a slow metabolism guessing game? I got you. I have been working hard on a totally free, 100% free metabolism health calculator and mini course that is for women who are ready to end that fat loss guessing game and actually lose weight without cutting a single food they love. This free metabolism report isn't just information. It's a mini course loaded with actionable steps and science-backed knowledge to help you pinpoint the exact number of where your metabolism sits, the exact calorie goal of where your metabolism needs to be, and if you need a reverse diet or if you can just jump right into the calorie deficit. Take your life back from the diet industry with this customizable template that calculates your individual metabolic health data, revealing the exact health score of your metabolism. You can grab this totally free course by going to my website, www.schmidt.fit/metabolism report. You can also grab it directly from the show notes. And last but not least, if you're on Instagram, you can go ahead and send me the DM metabolism report and I can send you the link directly. I truly am so gosh darn excited about this metabolism report and mini course, and I cannot wait for you to nerd out with me. So please go grab it and enjoy the rest of the episode. Now, the second problem that I have with, and this is a huge problem a huge problem that I have with New Year's resolutions is, especially when it's coming to the end of the year as well as the beginning of the year, every single year, all of the diets come out of the woodwork. I always think of New Girl when Nick says coming out of the woodward, I think, or the woodward or something. And Schmidt's like, you mean woodwork, right? It makes me laugh so much. Anyway, all of these, I love New Girl. I've watched it. I mean, I literally watch it on repeat. That and Schitt's Creek. What else? Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. We were talking about favorite shows in BPM. So many good ones. But anyhow, second problem here is all the diets come out of the woodwork. Now I'm like second guessing myself. I'm like, wait, is it woodwork? I don't know. But they come out and they're like, hey, for $9.99, you can lose 100 pounds overnight. And it's like, nah, that's not realistic. That's not true. And the problem is it's teaching our world, it's teaching our society that we are going to reach our goals fast. And so we expect to hit them in that year. And if we don't hit them in that year, we are a failure. And for some, I mean, truly, it can happen in a year. It might not happen in a year. So what I think is really important is instead of, obviously we want to hit that long-term goal, but we're so hyper-focused on that goal and only the timeline without breaking it down into the smaller pieces, we're not going to hit that long-term goal. So yes, it does take 21 days to form a habit, but that's solely getting a habit started. What is that? 21 days, so a little bit less than a month. What is that, 3 weeks, give or take? 7, 14, 21. So exactly, yeah. So 3 weeks to get that habit started. You can't, here's my big thing, okay? It doesn't mean that in 3 weeks you will have healed 10 years of diet damage. It doesn't mean that in 3 weeks you should have lost 50 pounds. It doesn't mean in 3 weeks that you will be the best version of yourself and the person that you've dreamed to become. You get to be patient and also recognize you may not see drastic changes in 3 weeks. Me and my hiccups today, I don't know where these are coming from, but I hope I have like random like one hiccup and then I move on, and I haven't had them in a while. And today we're just like hiccup. So a day in the life of me, hey, but you get to be patient and recognize that you may not see drastic changes in 3 weeks, but you actually have to stick with what you're doing. And I don't mean stick with a diet. I don't mean stick with keto. I don't mean stick with low fat. Don't do any kind of diet, but stick with tracking your macros, right? Let's say tracking your macros for an example here. You want to give yourself what I like to say, actually, truly, give yourself 6 to 8 weeks of consistency. True consistency is everything. And then go from there, okay? So if you're truly hitting your macros, you're showing up every single day, you are putting in the work, this will get the ball rolling for you. And as you hit that consistency, you're learning how to eat out, you're learning how to track your macros, you're really becoming the person who knows how to navigate the real world situations. From here, you can continue to lean into the compounding changes. And as you stay consistent and really hitting those smaller goals that you have created from that big goal, okay? So you want to lose 50 pounds, cool, right? Remember what I talked over earlier in the episode? Do you need to reverse diet? Do you need to start tracking your macros? Do you need to start working on that self-love? Like, what do you need to do? What are the smaller pieces that you need to do that will make up that long-term goal, okay? I highly suggest getting rid of a very solid timeline, because what can happen is either number one, the timeline feels way too small and we're like, holy crap, there's so many things that I need to do in a small amount of time. And we get kind of like information overload and we can't do it. And I'm the queen. If I have too much on my plate, it's not going to happen. I really go into this like, whoa, I'm so overwhelmed, and it doesn't happen. The other thing is, if we give ourselves too far of a timeline, we're going to procrastinate. So we don't really want to say in 8 weeks, I will be blank. In 1 year, I will be blank. Our bodies are always changing. Life is happening. We're going to have ups and downs. So while yes, you still might hit your goal in a year, getting rid of the timeline helps us get rid of the rushing to the end line. And it really pushes us to focus on those smaller compounding changes that will lead to that long-term goal. Okay. Third, I love this one. The third problem here is social media and media in general makes it seem too easy. And like, you don't have to put any work to see changes happen. And I don't want you to think it's hard. Like, it's not so overwhelmingly hard that you can't see changes or that it's like too hard to happen. But you have to be willing to show up for yourself, and you have to be willing to put in the work. You can't just hire a coach and for them to eat for you, for them to do it all for you. Part of the process of growing is actually putting in the work and learning and going through those experiences so you can fail and you can learn. I absolutely freaking love it. I love it. When my clients in BPM are traveling, are eating out, are doing the real world things. I have a client who, she was binging almost every single day, and she would come to me, she would binge, we would talk about it, we would kind of like take a deep dive. The cool thing about BPM, also my Beautiful Peach Mastermind, is you are in a community of women who are going through it with you, who are understanding what you're going through, who might be struggling at the same time, who might be a little bit farther in their journey, who might be a little bit farther back in their journey, and everyone's in it together. And then you have myself as the expert there who has gone through it. And you've got my absolutely freaking incredible support coaches there who have also gone through it. It's like you have this absolutely incredible support system. So when you are having those bad days, you can show up and you can come to us and we can support you. We can help you learn to navigate those situations. My clients in BPM are like, this community is absolutely everything. And BPM is my signature program. I have been running BPM for 7 years, 8 years, long time. And it works. It is absolutely freaking incredible. But my point being with this is a coaching program should be and will be, if you have the right one. Hey, hi, what's up? It's me. It should be a container for you to grow. This is why I teach my BPM clients how to adjust their macros, how to create game plans, how to see the roadmap. I will not create I really will not create a strict meal plan for you, because I'm going to say you have to eat this and this every single day. It's not going to work. I will teach you how to create those meal plans for yourself so you're able to have the plan, but also if there's a day where you want to go get Starbucks, if there's a day where you impromptu are going out to eat, you also are learning how to navigate those situations so you can live your life and see changes happening at the same time, okay? You get to have the ease of having a game plan that feels really good to you, getting rid of the guessing game so you know what needs to be done, and also you get to execute the plan, okay? You get to show up and you get to do it. You get to ask questions when you need help. You get to push that mental strength. And we work a lot in BPM on the mental side of things because it's hard. You don't just want to shut down. That's not going to lead you anywhere. And that's the beauty of coaching. There will always be good days and bad days. But when you have that community, when you have me by your side, you are in it for the long-term change. You are in it to freaking win it. And I think it's just one of those things where our society and social media is it's just a feed of everybody's perfect life. And I love social media because that's how I find, or a lot of you guys find me through, Instagram, through TikTok, through podcasts. I don't really consider this social media, but I love it. And I also don't love it at the same time. I have gone through and actually removed a lot of social media that doesn't necessarily make myself feel good. And it puts me into a comparison game, because it's not worth being in a comparison game, because everybody has their own journey. Everybody's in a different space. And that's where in BPM, we support each other at every single step of the way. And we have completely removed the comparison game. So everybody is showing up. Everybody is shouting out for each other. Everyone's excited and proud for each other and rooting each other on. And that's what it's about. That's how you get those long-term changes, okay? And this goes to my last little note here. This is more of an action step than anything. you get to celebrate every single freaking win. So your jeans fit better. I am here for it. We had 2 clients this week whose jeans fit better, and they're so cute. One of them, actually, this is a different one that I think I talked about somebody else in a couple episodes back. I have clients who are having their jeans fitting better, who are down in weight, who are eating 1,000 calories higher in their reverse diet with the same weight range. I had a client actually, and a lot of people are going to say, well, this isn't a win, but it is. So I had a client who binged twice this week, and this is 10 times better than she has been in the past. She's been binging every single day. It's actually somebody else that I talked about. Was it earlier in this podcast? I'm like completely blanking when I talked about this. It was literally just a second ago. My mind is like mush right now. I've got like holiday brain going on. I'm recording this in December and getting a bunch of things recorded because holidays are coming up and I've got some fun things happening in January. So probably when you are listening to this. So please come hang out with me on Instagram and on my story. That's when I'm sharing all of my fun personal life and fun things that we're doing and little secrets being spilled and all the good stuff. So I always share that in my Instagram story. So come hang out with me. Come hang out with me in the DMs, all the good things there. But point being is she was binging like every single day and she's now down to 2 a week. And that's such a freaking huge win. And I think a lot of people would look at that and be like, but I'm still binging, but that's terrible. No, you have literally made so much progress in 2 weeks. You're down to 2 binges a week. That's absolutely incredible. You started tracking macros. Amazing. Let's celebrate that. You got outside and went for a walk. Heck yes. Let us celebrate that. We in BPM actually have a weekly movement challenge, which is kind of fun. So we have different challenges that we do in BPM to just really make sure we're getting that movement and just leveling ourselves up. Okay. You get to level up. So all wins get to be celebrated. And last but not least, I have 2 notes here. So when I got rid of writing the New Year's resolutions down, right, we still want to make sure we are setting goals. So what I do is instead of writing a New Year's resolution that I want to hit in this year, what I do is I write down my big goal. Why are words so hard? My big goal, aka losing 20 pounds, losing 50 pounds, healing your metabolism, finding food freedom, right? Breaking those down into, say, for example, 10 smaller goals that need to be accomplished. And then break each one of those into smaller goals, okay? Ditching the timeline, being proactive with the execution of each of those small goals. So as you're checking off one goal at a time, you're getting to the bigger goal. And once you start hitting those smaller goals, once I started hitting those smaller goals, that's what allowed me to reach that long-term change, okay? Really leaning into the compound effect, which truly that is a book, The Compound Effect. I'm pretty sure it's also an Audible. Get it? I have all my BPM clients read it. It is the most incredible books. Actually, quick book review, and then I will wrap up this podcast. The Compound Effect is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love Atomic Habits. Love Atomic Habits. 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think, I think is what it's called. I'm reading that now. I use that kind of as actually like a journal prompt. So I'll read a couple of things and I'll journal on it. And it's been very, very, it's nice to kind of reflect and very eye-opening. So it's really cool. And last but not least here, because this is so very important, if you're ready to change, BPM enrollment is closing up. We are still open now. If you have not applied and you're like, hey, I think I want to be in BPM, you have questions for me, come ask me on Instagram. Come ask me for the BPM sneak peek on Instagram as well. I will send that to you. Just send me a message on my DM and I will send it to you. You can reply to my story. A lot of times I do little things about BPM, so you can just reply to my story there or send me a DM. It doesn't matter. If you are somebody who does not want to be just another number to the diet industry, you want to be actually seen, BPM is for you. It is my high-level coaching program for women who want to heal their metabolism from diet burnout so they can finally lose weight and keep it off for good while eating the food that you love. You do not need to sacrifice the food that you love. You do not need to sacrifice the time and energy with your family. You do not need to sacrifice your quality of life. You get to have your cake and two, to eat out, to see the changes happen, to enjoy the vacation, the holidays. You get to have your cake and eat it too. So BPM includes weekly check-ins. And the cool thing about BPM is the way that I have it set up is I am teaching you everything that I do as a coach, because you get a couple bonuses that I'll walk you through in just a second. But you get these weekly check-ins where you're having your macros adjusted for you, all 110% customized to you. It is the coolest weekly tracker that you get. I had way too much fun creating it. It's very, very it's very pretty and high tech. You get a dashboard, which will show you your reverse diet progress. It will show you where your metabolism sits, where it needs to be, how far you've reverse dieted, your fat loss. It will show you your habit of the week. I have a whole entire habit tracker for you in there We have our whole entire weekly tracker. So we can get a glance of everything going on week by week. And that's why progress does actually happen in BPM. And that's why the success rate is like out the roof. I pride myself on my success rate. If you show up, you'll see changes, end of story. And it's really fun too, because these weekly check-ins allow you to be seen and for tweaks to happen as needed. So you are progressing in the right way, having a good reverse diet without the weight regain, seeing the fat loss, having the food freedom. Okay. So you're having those weekly check-ins. You have access to Slack where I'm hanging out in there all the time. Other women are hanging out there. We have an absolutely freaking incredible community. So you don't feel alone. And also you get bonus access to not only the macro calculator, and then you send all the information over to me so I can verify your custom macros. Everything is 100% customized to you. But you also get access to my reverse diet course, which is where you get my reverse diet roadmap, teaching you exactly what macro to adjust and when. So you'll learn exactly where your metabolism is, where it needs to be, and every single adjustment that needs to happen. So as you're getting the weekly check-ins of having those macros adjusted for you, you're also learning how they're being done. You get access to my reverse diet biofeedback checklist. So you can look at your own personal biofeedback on a weekly basis and say, hey, yes, my metabolism is ready for this adjustment. Let's go. You also get access to my alcohol tracker. People get so excited for this. You can just plug in the calories of the alcohol that you're drinking, and it will actually shoot out how many carbs, fat, or a mix of both to track the alcohol. You also get access, and here's like the cherry on top and the sprinkles. It's like a little bit of both. You get access to my Macro and Nutrition Academy. Currently, in this moment, this course, the only way that you can get access to this is in BPM. And the way that this works is it's going to help you learn. So you get all the reverse diet information, but you're also going to be learning how to do calorie deficits, how to do lean bulks, transitioning from all the phases. So how to transition from phase to phase, and also how to go intuitive down the road. So you can get to where you need to go and then go intuitive down the road. So BPM is like the creme de la creme. You get everything. It is the last program that you will ever need. It is absolutely incredible. So I wanted to give you that shout out just because I have been slacking a little bit of letting you know that BPM is open for enrollment on my podcast. I'm very sorry. I have been forgetting to share that. So I'm like, hey, listen, BPM is open. Or if you literally just want the reverse diet course, you can go purchase that. That is open when this will be open when this podcast goes out. So with all that, please let me know if you have any questions on Instagram. Just send me a DM. I am here for it. Please never, ever forget you are so incredibly freaking worthy of seeing all the changes. Failure is a good thing. It teaches you where you want to go. Please do not write your New Year's resolutions with a solid deadline. You're going to go into panic mode. We want to create those long-term goals. And then the smaller pieces, the smaller goals that you want to accomplish to get there. And you are so capable of doing it all. I adore you so much. So with all of this, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my beautiful peach.